Apple finally get it right this time? That's the question people are starting to ask after new leaks about the iPhone 17 Pro started making the rounds. We're still months away from the launch, but early details are already making waves, especially around the design. And it looks like one of the most talked about complaints might finally be getting fixed. For the last few iPhone releases, the design on the back has been a bit of a letdown for many users. The black camera section paired with a different colored rear panel never really made sense to some people. It looked like two different phones mashed together. But this year, things might be different. Leaked images suggest that Apple is going for a more consistent and clean look, with the camera area blending in with the rest of the back panel. No more awkward color contrasts, just one solid color all the way through. And this isn't just based on some random leak. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, who's known for getting Apple news right more often than not, also said in his newsletter that the iPhone 17 Pro will drop the two-tone design. So if that odd design choice was something that stopped you from upgrading in the past, it looks like Apple has listened. Now let's talk about the camera setup. Apple isn't changing the triple lens layout, but they are tweaking how it's arranged. Instead of the current triangular style, lenses will now sit in a horizontal bar across the back of the phone. On one end, there's the LED flash, and just underneath that, the LiDAR scanner. That LiDAR sensor helps with depth and makes augmented reality features more accurate. When Apple first added 3 cameras to the iPhone 11 Pro, people weren't really sure about it. Some even called it strange or ugly. But once people actually saw the phone in person, those complaints faded. The same thing might happen again with the iPhone 17 Pro's horizontal layout. It might seem odd in pictures, but chances are it'll look better in real life, just like before. On the performance side, the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max will be powered by Apple's upcoming A19 Pro chip. This chip will be built using TSMC's third-generation 3nm process, also known as N3P. At one point, there were whispers that Apple would switch to a 2nm chip this year, but that didn't work out. The costs were too high and the supply was limited. So they've saved the 2nm chips for the iPhone 18, which will bring the A20 series chips next year. Still, the A19 Pro chip is no slouch. Even though it's not a huge leap like the 2nm chip would have been, it still brings performance improvements and better power efficiency compared to the previous generation. So if you care about speed and battery life, this new chip is going to deliver solid results. Another change that's getting attention is the possible introduction of a new model called the iPhone 17 Air. This version is expected to be thinner and lighter, replacing a Plus model in the lineup. Apple seems to be focusing more on sleek and modern looks this time around, not just in the Pro models, but across all versions. If you've seen some of the early prototype leaks and were worried about the rear design or the color mismatch, it's probably safe to say that Apple is working to clean things up. They usually fine-tune everything before the final release, so what we're seeing now might not be the full picture yet. With all these updates, the iPhone 17 series is shaping up to be more polished and better thought out. So the big question now is, are you thinking of upgrading this year? Or are you holding out for the iPhone 18 with the newer chips? Tell us what you're planning in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the next update. Did you know that Apple is putting all its foldable display eggs in one basket? According to a new report, Samsung Display will be the only company making the OLED panels for Apple's first ever foldable iPhone. That's right, Samsung beat out both LG Display and BOE from China to win this massive deal. Now this lines up with an earlier report by analyst Jeff Pu, who said Apple and Samsung had already made a deal for foldable OLED panels. It looks like Samsung is not only Apple's biggest rival in smartphones, but also its key display supplier. Let's talk specs because we've got some juicy details. A well-known leaker from China, Digital Chat Station, shared some information on Weibo. The iPhone Fold is expected to feature a 7.76-inch internal display with a resolution of 1920 by 2713 pixels, giving it a pixel density of 428 ppi. For comparison, the iPhone 16 Pro Max has a sharper display with 460 ppi, but the difference might not even be noticeable to most users. Now the outer screen or the cover display will also be made by Samsung and is said to measure 5.4 inches with a resolution of 1422 by 288 pixels, bringing the pixel density close to 460 ppi. That's pretty much the same as the iPhone 13 mini, so the folded phone should feel compact and pocketable. And here's something cool. The main 7.76-inch screen is expected to come with an under-display front camera, while the outer screen will have a hole-punch lens. This setup means you'll be able to take selfies and make video calls with either screen, depending on how you're using the phone. Production of these foldable panels is set to begin either late this year or early next year. Apple is aiming to start full-scale production of the iPhone Fold around the same time. They're also working hard to reduce or eliminate the crease in the middle of the foldable display, which has been one of the biggest complaints with other foldables on the market. Now let's talk about the price. The iPhone Fold is expected to cost around $2,000, which would make it one of the most expensive iPhones ever. That's even more than Samsung's latest foldables. Speaking of Samsung, even though they're supplying the displays, Apple's entry into the foldable market is going to make things tougher for them. Samsung currently holds 40% of the global foldable phone market, but Chinese brands have been eating into that share fast. And now, with Apple stepping in, Samsung is going to face even more pressure. It's a strange situation. On one hand, Samsung is helping Apple build this device by providing the displays, but on the other hand, they're going to lose sales when some users switch from Galaxy Foldables to the iPhone Fold. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? Overall, it's clear that Apple isn't just testing the waters here. By going with Samsung as the sole display supplier and working on advanced tech like under-display cameras and crease reduction, they seem to be taking foldables seriously. We're still a few months away from an official reveal, but if production stays on track, we could see the iPhone Fold launch sometime next year. So are you excited about Apple finally releasing a foldable phone, or do you think it's too late to the party? Let us know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoyed this update, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tech news just like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Is Apple's first foldable iPhone really going to cost more than a Galaxy Z Fold? Well, if the latest leaks are true, the answer is yes, and not just a little more, at least $200 more than Samsung's future foldable, the Galaxy Z Fold 8. Now that might not sound too crazy when you're already spending close to $2,000 on a phone, but it raises a real question. Is it worth paying that much more just for the Apple logo? According to multiple reports, Apple's first foldable iPhone, likely to be called the iPhone 18 Fold, is expected to launch next year. A well-known analyst, Tim Long, says the phone could cost around $2,299. That makes it about 20% more expensive than Samsung's latest foldable, the Galaxy Z Fold 6, which currently sells for $1,899. So what about the Galaxy Z Fold 8? That's the one Apple will be going head-to-head with in 2026. Reports suggest Samsung will stick with the same price for that model too, meaning Apple's foldable will still be at least $200 more expensive when it finally arrives. Another report out of China backs this up. On Weibo, a leaker called Insta Digital also claims Apple's foldable will fall somewhere between $2,100 and $2,300. That's right in line with what Tim Long said earlier. So we're now hearing this from two solid sources. So why the high price? Well, Apple is known for premium pricing. But this is also a first-generation foldable, which means development costs are higher and there's more risk involved. Foldables are still considered delicate, and Apple will want to make sure it's polished and reliable before it hits the market. But here's the thing. Samsung already has years of experience in this space. By the time Apple releases the iPhone 18 Fold, Samsung will be on its 8th generation foldable phone. So Apple is definitely late to the party, and charging more right out of the gate could be a hard sell, especially if Samsung keeps offering better value. That said, Apple could still pull this off, and here's why. People might look at the iPhone 18 Fold not just as a phone, but also as a mini tablet. If it truly works well as an iPhone and an iPad in one device, some users might see that $2,300 price tag as a deal. After all, buying an iPhone and an iPad separately could cost even more. And let's not forget one interesting detail. Samsung is actually helping Apple here. Reports say Samsung will be supplying the foldable OLED screens for Apple's foldable iPhone. That's right. Even if the iPhone 18 Fold outsells the Galaxy Z Fold 8, Samsung will still benefit from every single unit Apple ships. Still, pricing is going to be a big factor. The Galaxy Z Fold 6 is already considered expensive, and a lot of people skip it because of that. If Apple's foldable is even more expensive, people might hesitate even more, especially since foldables are often seen as fragile or less durable than standard phones. At the end of the day, it will come down to how good the experience is. If Apple nails it, seamless design, reliable performance, and great battery life, some people will be more than willing to pay that premium. But for others, especially those just curious about foldables, price might be the deal breaker. So what do you think? Would you spend over $2,000 on a foldable iPhone, or would you stick with a regular phone, or maybe even go with Samsung's foldables? Let us know in the comments, and if you want to stay updated on Apple's foldable plans, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.